Oh, so this video is named The Window of Opportunity. And the reason I named it that way is because today's message from Spirit is letting us know that the window is getting a lot smaller. The window of opportunity for humanity is becoming smaller. And it's not for me to bring fear to you. Obviously, that's never the purpose behind these messages. However, I will say that it is very important for you guys to take these messages seriously and for you to really listen and to not just listen but to implement them. I've been doing this for, as you know, well over a year and a half, and all the messages that I've brought forth have been unfortunately true. They've come to pass, and they're happening. And from the very beginning, the message has always been about community, standing together, speaking up, standing in your truth, using discernment, critical thinking, all that stuff. However, it feels like not everyone has been really taken in these messages to where you realize how important for you to participate, and not just participate by listening to these videos or to these messages from Spirit, but to take action. There's especially those who are aware of what's happening and are choosing not to participate. Spirit saying, this is not a time for you to be selfish. It's not about you, it's about community, it's about humanity. And for those who are focused solely on, bringing positivity, that is really great. I don't want to knock it because it is needed. We still need to stay focused on positivity, raising vibration, and we're going to be able to do that through bringing, positive posts and, listening to music, meditating, clearing our space. All that has to continue happening. However, I think where the message is being lost is that is not the only thing that needs to be done, because what is then happening is that it's almost like people are saying, out of sight, out of mind, or we don't focus on that, on the bad, then it's not going to be more of that. And that's not the case. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again because Creator really wants me to bring this to you guys, that when there is something that is actually happening, it is important to address it. Just like any other situation or problems, when we have an issue, we must address it. Otherwise, as it sits, it becomes a greater issue. And so what I'm being shown is it's like the volcano is just becoming more tense. Eventually, it's going to erupt. So by us just only saying love, light, and all this positivity, it's helping those who are not aware of what's happening, because they just think all is good. And our goal is to bring awareness to those people who don't know what is actually happening, because all is not good. And so that's the point of why we're supposed to be speaking up and sharing truth. And as I hear all those chickens cackling, doing their sounds over there, it's like Creator saying, yes, that we must be making noise, we must be talking, we must be sharing truth, and really pushing information out there that people really need to understand and hear. That it's not just about what the mainstream is pushing, because that's not the reality. That is what is being pushed on us so that it can create separation. And they are being successful to a certain extent. They didn't count on many of us being aware and really sticking together. And so we must really continue to focus on sticking together and not allowing them to push that division on us. So when they're saying, for example, things like, oh, the people that are are the ones that are spreading this and that and that are causing harm, we must not fall for that. So whether you are or not, that this is not about what your beliefs are in regards to this. What it's about is about us respecting each other's differences, or, agree to disagree, and staying together so that we can really make it through this. Because right now we're in the middle of like the absolute, everything is out in the light, but because they're trying really hard to cover the sun with one finger, is what I'm being shown, that they are causing a bunch of distractions and diversions. Because the reality of what's happening is that they are at the end of being dismantled. But remember what I said a while back, that when you back someone up to a corner, they react in a very hostile way, because it's like backing up an animal that is afraid, or wants to do their last, they have like the last chance to do whatever they can. They're going to cause the most harm that they can to try to save themselves. And that's what's going on. That's what they're doing. And so they're creating all this division so that not only do they want to take as many people with them as possible by pushing and saying, you must do this, or you can't enter here, you will not, be able to have access to this or that. They're doing that to convince people that they must do it, and, putting them into this like fearful mode of they're going to be excluded from having their, the everyday necessities taken away, and then that's absolute garbage. They can't do that. But I'm not saying that they won't do that, and this is why this message is important, because they're gonna do it if they can get away with it. And the only way they can get away with it is if you don't stand up and speak up and stay connected with each other. So again, the messages that I have been bringing forth for the last several months now, I feel have not been really taken to heart and implemented. They've been listened to, and it's like, okay, thank you for letting me know where we're at right now, but then you're not putting in the work. You're not taking action into, preventing things from getting worse. And this is why this has been prolonged this as long as, as much as it has, because people are not, really speaking into their rights. It's like people are just giving away their rights, and this is blowing my mind. And so what they're doing is, again, causing people to fear each other by saying, the people that are, not doing this are causing more harm. And the reason why they do this is because they flip things. They always try to flip things around, because if you've been paying attention, about a month ago, 2 months ago, the people that are aware how harmful this is, we were spreading information as to what the consequences or some of the effects have been. And as you know, they've been not good. And to the point where those of us who have not received it, just by merely being around people that have been affected by it. So they're switching the script now. They're flipping the script, saying now that the ones that are not are the ones that are causing the damage, because they always do that. To them, it's a game. It's a mental thing. Remember, I keep saying this. This is why you have to really pay attention to what the messages that I bring forth are really meaning, and what they really are telling you, because it's absolutely a mental and spiritual battle, and that's what they attack. Because once you give up, like, everything else won't matter no more. When you become physically, mentally, emotionally exhausted, you just pretty much go along with anything, because you're just like done. You're tired. You want it to be done. You want it to be over. Okay, let's just do this. Let's just do this, because I need to get food. I need to get my kids to school. So this is what they're doing. What we need to remember is that without our compliance, this ends. They can't force all the people to do this. So if you're the one, if you are aware of what's happening and you're complying, you need to stop right now. You really need to stop, unless you want the circus never to go away. Because again, the window is closing, and what I'm seeing is that right now you have the option to buy tickets to go, watch all this craziness happen. But pretty soon, if you continue to comply, then you're not going to have the option. The circus is going to be permanent throughout the, like in this realm, this circus, this craziness is going to be permanent if we do not stop this nonsense. And so, yes, simultaneously there is things that are being cleared, but also the reality is that they're going to cause as much damage as they can, and they're going to do it with your help if you continue to follow along. So that's what it boils down to. So you've got to really pay attention to what I'm saying. It's very important that you continue to share truth, and especially those of us who work in this spiritual community. If you know what's going on and you're choosing to, to not share because it's not your thing, and you really don't want to, get yourself into that energy, and you just want to stay focused on the positivity, well, I'm going to say, and I'm not sorry if I offend you, it's not about you, and it's not time to be selfish. It's a time for us to come together as a community, and it's as a spiritual, a person who serves spirit and is in this, community of service. It is time for us to be of service. That means putting ourselves aside and stepping up and doing what's right, not doing what's comfortable for us. It's doing what's right. Now, I'm not talking about the people that are not aware or who really believe in this and this is, going to help humanity. They don't know difference. They don't know better. So there's no judgment there. We need to just send them love and continue to help guide them through this whole, this whole craziness that's happening. And we really need to also bring awareness to them a lot quicker, because they are learning and figuring this out very, very slowly, and we need to speed it up for them, not in a fearful way, not in a, where we're pushing information down their throat, but we do have to start putting presenting critical thought type of I guess, and have them really start thinking about the bigger picture, instead of just saying they're wrong or that's not right, and that contains something horrible. You can't just tell them what you think or what you know. It's more of like you have to have them engage in their mind to really start working that left and right brain part of them, because again, the programming, it just really just shuts down a big portion of their mind, and they only know what they've been told. So it's important to start having them think about things in a very logical way. And so, for example, instead of saying, that's bad for you, or, you have to get it or else you're hurting people, then kind of present it back to them, mirror it back to them and say, well, how does that make sense? If the people that are the ones causing harm, wouldn't they be the ones that would be harmed the most? And wouldn't the ones that have received it been, they're protected? So, kind of like make them start remembering to think about the actual logic of it. And so as we continue to go through this craziness, the rest of this month is just going to be even worse, because the ones that are aware of the reality of what's really happening, then know that so much is being dismantled, and this is why it's chaos right now. And of course, the news is only focusing on what they want you to focus on. So it's kind of like that diversion, that distraction. Look there, not here. Pay attention. And so I'm asking you that you continue to bring back to the surface the things that they don't want people to know. For example, the recall. Very important. So if there's lockdowns that are going to be implemented, it's because they're trying to divert from people remembering to push the recall. Very important. So there's that. And there's just a few things that are happening that it's very important that we continue to pay attention to, so that it doesn't get dwindled. It doesn't get taken into the ocean and just forgotten about, is what I'm seeing. And so again, if you are in the spiritual community and you know what's going on, it's not a time for you to just pick and choose when you want to be of service. The time is now. You're being called to action. And also, if you feel that it's something, that is difficult for you, then find somebody that gives you that support, because it is hard. It is taxing. I'm not saying that this isn't or that this is easy. This has been difficult for me to do, and I have to recharge. I have to retrieve. I have to really take care of myself. But I also know I have a duty to continue to do this, because it's important. Again, it's a matter of what we do or don't do is going to determine humanity's outcome. And I'm not saying it to put fear, but it's what I'm seeing. It's what I've been shown, and it's what I need you guys to really listen to and really take in, and to really understand that your participation is needed and the action is very important. Not just you listening to the messages and being aware, but you bringing these messages to people that are not aware, because the ship is leaving is what I'm seeing. So the opportunity for you guys to be on board is pretty much going away. And I also see that, there's a lot of people that are jumping on trains and just taking off. And again, that's part of the avoidance. Out of sight, out of mind is not going to work. You don't want that volcano to rupture. So please do your part. And then always remember that as things get more thick, okay, because that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like I'm seeing quicksand, people feeling like they're sinking, and it's a slow sink. So it's like starting to feel like desperation, and no matter how much they're trying to feel good and do good and be positive, that there's sense of like they're sinking. Okay, so there's a lot of that happening too. It's like, you want to be positive and you want to keep vibration high, but then there's also that feeling of like there's something not right there. Okay, so pay attention to that. And so that is because what I'm saying, things are not right. So no matter how much you try to pretend that they are, and just like icing on the top, the bottom is still mud. Okay, the bottom is still mud. So we have to address this. We have to stick together and help each other through the quicksand. Okay, so as one goes, then the other one pulls the other one until everybody's safely together and on the other side. And remember not to turn on each other, not to judge each other. And if you're a business owner, a small business owner, and you are being asked to push this ridiculousness of segregation by implementing, that they must have this or else you can't serve them, shame on you if you're going to participate, because again, you don't want to go along with their nonsense. So that brings me back to reminding you that it's very important to share your rows. Okay, share your rows so that we know who it's safe to go with. And if you didn't watch that, it's having a white flower or rose as on your business, on your page, anywhere. And again, these messages have been coming for a reason, to help us through these times, and nobody has participated. Literally, I've seen like 1 or 2 people that have done it. And so how are we supposed to know how to find each other? The only way we're going to get through this is by finding each other and knowing that there's many of us. And see, so that's where we are strong. We're strong in numbers, and we are supporting each other, and that's when we get the confidence. That's where we are reminded that we have the ability to choose and to have other options. But if you don't listen to what these messages are asking you to do, then again, you might as well just bend over. Sorry, but that's just what that's what it is. So yeah, on that note, I feel these next couple of months, as I said, are going to be the most intense. Remember to stay in your heart. And again, continue to pray, continue to smudge, because we have to keep vibration high. We have to. That's the way we're going to all just get through this, because the negative, the low vibration, the entities, they can't handle that high vibration. So as we bring truth, we bring it with love. We bring it with compassion. We bring it with that understanding that we must love each other through this. So, till next time, I hope.